Thanks for staying with us. It is still in the game. Now let's talk basketball. Of course, it was jump ball in the first tournament, talking about the 2025 Women's Basketball Premier League. And the former champions, First Bank, opened their campaign with a 62-48 points win over Dolphins at the Indoor Sports Hall, Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City. The Bankers dominated from tip-off, showcasing superior fitness and control to secure a convincing win in the season opener. The Dolphins fought hard but could not match the intensity of First Bank. In the day's second fixture, Bayelsa Blue Whales powered past First Deep Water, 61-41 points to boost their qualification hopes for the Lagos finals. Now, this year's league features 5 teams: First Bank, Bayelsa Blue Whales, MFM, Dolphins, and the First Deep Waters battling for supremacy in Nigeria's top-tier women's basketball competition. Now, still talking about that tournament, as the games go down right there in Benin City, which tipped off in Benin, 2 teams from the Atlantic Conference have withdrawn from the competition. And the league, structured into Atlantic and Savannah conferences, is expected to be played in 2 phases. Reports from Benin, the host city for the Atlantic Conference, confirms that Sunshine Angels and Delta Force have pulled out of the tournament. The withdrawal of both teams is reportedly due to severe financial difficulties affecting their operations. Now, according to the league regulations, the 2 clubs now face the risk of automatic relegation. Now, we've got Kenny Bamidele, who joins us to give us more analysis. He is a basketball pundit, and I will look at this tournament, talking about the women's competition, and of course, we'll talk about the Tigress as well. Welcome to the show, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me today. How are you doing?
I'm very well, but I'm saddened to know that basketball has kicked off, and a lot of basketball fans are not even aware that the basketball for women has actually tipped off this time around, happening right there in Benin City. What do you make of the publicity of this women's basketball league? And a lot of people are saying we should not even associate it with the MBBF.
All right, so let me explain that. When it comes to, I got messages yesterday from people asking, Kenny, we just got to know that the women's league is starting. No build-up, nothing was said. And of course, I was able to make my findings as to what probably led to this. And of course, I got to know that the agreement in place between the Nigerian Basketball Federation and the sponsors for the league, Zenith, the agreement in place is that Zenith will be the one to be in charge of almost all of the activities when it comes to the league. For example, the plan, based on the letter that was sent to the Basketball Federation, the plan was from the final 8, that is where they're going to begin coverage. We're going to see videos, highlight of these matches, which honestly is not really good enough. The MBBF too needs to be blamed for, agreeing at something like this. Why would you accept something won't be very good for the publicity of the league? A lot of basketball players are in Benin City playing, looking to help their team do well and qualify for the final phase and see if they would represent Nigeria in the Africa Women's Basketball League on the continent of Africa right there. So I think the Basketball Federation, the sponsors for the league, Zenith, they all have a lot of work to do in order to help Nigerians get to know what is happening. Personally, I try as much as possible to put information out there on my social media platforms, on Instagram, on X, and on Facebook, to keep Nigerians updated when it comes to Nigerian basketball situation right there. So the federation have got a lot of, for handball, for example, handball have a very good structure. They have content creators. They also have photographer. They have someone who design graphics for them, and they pay these people to put it out there. And this is handball. And if you're to give us top 5 sports in Nigeria, basketball will come before handball. So how much more basketball? So the NBBF can take a part of the blame, and I think the sponsor should also take a part of the blame right there. Yeah, but sadly, one Nigerian was blaming me, Kenny, why are you not saying anything about Nigerian Women's Basketball League? I mean, I've been trying my best to say some things, but yeah, but of course, I try as much as possible to keep the fans posted as regards.
All right, I think the gremlins have actually crept into the network, maybe to stop Kenny from talking about it, but I also want to press more on this one because we need to give proper publicity to ensure that we are prepared for a tournament as big as this. We're talking about Women's Basketball League in Nigeria, in as much as the Men's Basketball League is suffering. We've not seen it in a very, very long time, and I don't think it's going to come back anytime soon because we keep hearing promises upon promises. But yes, now we're here. The tournament has tipped off. There's a jump ball over there in Benin City. And now we're hearing that two teams have actually withdrawn from the tournament amidst reports of financial issues. At this stage, should it be having this type of problems, challenges when it comes to even basketball? Because we've not had it in a long time. Are we not supposed to prepare ourselves for tournaments that can actually come up anytime?
All right, so this is it. The two teams that couldn't attend the games, Sunshine Angels and Delta Force. Now, IGP Queens, I spoke with someone from IGP Queens yesterday, and I was told that, well, you know, they don't think they will make it for the competition anymore. Well, they can't make it due to financial constraints. But now, I've seen comments on social media as regards who is to be blamed for this. This is it. The league was meant to start earlier this month, but it was postponed to yesterday. Why? Because two teams requested that the league be moved to yesterday. That is Sunshine Angels and Delta Force. And the reason they requested for the league to be moved was because they feel they want to write a letter for support and see if they would be able to get support. And the NBBA felt like, okay, without these two teams, it won't really help the league if we don't move it forward for these two teams. And despite the fact that the league was moved, the start of the league was moved, these two teams couldn't attend. Talking about Delta Force and Sunshine Angels right there. And if you look at Ondo State, a lot has been happening when it comes to sport in Ondo State since the end of the National Sport Festival. Delta States were requesting that they wanted to be the host. I mean, Delta Force wanted to be the host of this one, but they were not happy that it was taken to Benin City. And if you take a look at the past editions, it has been hosted by Delta Force, Delta State right there. So you cannot keep hosting the Basketball League Atlantic Conference in Delta State when there are other states that has also what it takes to host it. So it's a whole lot, happening in the background as regards the reason why Delta Force and Sunshine Angels would be participating at the basketball league, the women's basketball league right there. But of course, one more team that is in that list is IGP Queens. So one more, if IGP Queens fails to attend the next game, and they would also be dropped to, the second division. I had a brief chat with someone this morning on the first, and I was told that the league, the Basketball Federation are preparing a statement to announce the relegation of these three teams. So wait for the statement to be released by the Basketball Federation.
Right. I mean, Kenny, I would love to ask before we talk about the Tigers. You talk about relegation. Please, relegation to where? Where are they going to be playing? We don't even have a. Do we have a second division league? Where would they be playing?
Well, we have teams in the second division, no doubt, but you probably can't compare the structure. Even the first division is not really that structured when you are even talking about second division. So of course, they will be relegated. Sunshine Angels were trying to sell their slots to another team who might be interested, but looks like they couldn't make that happen due to the short time they had. So yeah, there is a second division, but Nigerian basketball, even the first division is not that structured. Wow. How much more the second division?
All right, let's talk about the Tigers now. We heard that they've landed in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, ahead of the 2025 FIBA Women's AfroBasket Championship, which tips off on the 26th of July to the 3rd of August. They're joining Group D alongside Mozambique and Rwanda. The six-time champions are gunning for a record-extending fifth consecutive title. Now, since reclaiming the Continental crown in 2017, the Nigerian women's team, they've dominated African basketball with wins in 2017, 2019, 2021, and then 2023. Their 12-player roster, announced by coach Rena Wakama, features returnee Sarah Ogoke, which I'm happy about, and key stars from their historic Paris 2024 Olympic run, led by Captain Ami Okonkwo. The squad includes Amu Kamara. There's also Kalu, Balogun, Enabosi, and Ejiofor as they seek to defend their title and solidify their continental dominance. Kenny, like the Super Falcons, Mission X, we're almost there. We just have the finals to play against Morocco. For the girls, for the Tigers of Nigeria, how possible do you think this mission for the fifth title is for them? Because it's not played in a while.
Yeah, I think it's actually very possible for them to actually win it, no doubt. We had porous preparation 2023. 2023, we still went ahead to win it that year. But this time around, I think it's the same preparation. we have the talent. I guess that is the reason why the coach went with familiar players that, yes, I know these players, I've worked with them before, and I trust them to get the job done for me. Jigat. So I think we have all it takes to win it, but I'm just concerned that other teams that would be participating, they are well ready for this competition. And for Nigeria, are we 100% ready? We are not 100% ready because Mali played friendly games, Senegal played friendly games, in Rwanda played friendly games. In fact, I had Rwanda travel to Egypt to even prepare for this Afro-Basket Championship. So I think for Nigeria, yes, we have the talent to win it again. But I just want to watch the first game against Rwanda and see how much of chemistry this team have been able to build again since they reunited. See if they would be able to actually win it. But I'm always optimistic when it comes to the chances of the Tigers doing well. I'm not going to say categorically that we win it, but I will instead say that they have what it takes to win it again. I just want to see how the first game unfold.
All right, we look forward to the first game, and you can see them on your screen. The welcome right there for the players and the fans supporting them, and I hope that they can actually dance on the basketball court when the jump ball goes up, and they can actually win this one. But I'd also love to touch on this one. Lastly, we talk about, we keep on playing this women's basketball league in the country, and of course, we see pickup games left, right, and center, different basketball courts. There's support from private companies hosting basketball tournaments. But in the women's team, how possible can a home-based player actually get a chance? Because there's a dream of making the national team. Can a home-based player still dream of making the national team, or do they have to leave Nigeria first, like Vera Ojenowa, to get noticed?
All right, so it is very possible for home-based players to play for the national team, for the women's team. Now, 2021 AfroBasket, I stand corrected. There were two players who were, as at that time, they were still in Nigeria. I mean, Mojana Tumusa and Ufunanya Okoro. Both players made the roster. I think they made the roster 2021, and they weren't really a big part of the team in terms of the play on court, but they were able to be part of the team to win the AfroBasket that year. So I think home-based players can make it. That is, if you have an active league, and when you say active league, it's not the league of you play first phase 1 week, you play second phase. You give us an actual league where players can play, spree of games, maybe 3 months, 4 months, and then you have a grand finale, something like that. Then we have a very high competition level. So I think in this case, the players are not to be blamed. Don't blame the players. I won't even blame Rana Wakama for not picking any player from Nigeria, because it's going to be a big risk if they do that. Don't get it twisted. We have talent. We have a lot of talented basketball players in Nigeria. We saw a couple of them do well in the Under-19 Women's World Cup, even though the result didn't really go well as as much as I want it to be. There's Wando Hembam, who is young and is one of the best three-point shooters in Nigeria. There is also Idubamu Begi. Those two players had a great time individually when it comes to the tournament. So I think we have the pool of talent in Nigeria that can play for the national team. But how about the league to watch them? How about videos to see that, okay, this player is indeed good enough to play for the national team?
All right, that's a huge conversation right there. Are they good enough to play for the national team? And questions will be asked. We look forward to this league, women's basketball league, coming and going. Then we'll see if we can select 1 or 2 players that can actually break into the national team when the time comes. Thank you very much, Kenny Bamidele, for joining us, and always a pleasure having you talk basketball.